Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm David Kerr from Lansing in Michigan, and these are your latest news headlines from around the world. Catholics across India are eagerly awaiting the canonization of the country's first lay martyr this weekend. Blessed Lazarus Devasahayam is due to be declared a saint by Pope Francis at the Vatican on Sunday. Among those present in Rome will be Cardinal Oswald Gracias, the head of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of India, Cardinal George Alenchery of the Syro Malabar Church, and Cardinal Baselios Cleemis of the Syro Malankara Church. Lazarus Devasahayam was an 18th century Hindu convert to Christianity who shed his blood to defend his faith in Christ. Meanwhile, on Pentecost Sunday, that's June the 5th, there will be a special Thanksgiving prayer service at the place of St. Devasahayam's martyrdom in the southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu. Then on June the 24th, the Feast of the Sacred Heart, all Catholic families across India will be dedicated to the Sacred Heart by the country's Latin bishops. The prelates are also inviting Catholics both in India and abroad to take part in the prayer and to seek the intercession of St. Devasahayam for India. Finally, you can watch a special tribute to St. Devasahayam on Shalom World this weekend. He'll be featured in the latest episode of the series Glorious Lives. The programme will be broadcast on Sunday at 9 p.m. US Eastern Time. It will also premiere the day before on YouTube. In other news, the British government have publicly condemned this week's arrest of Cardinal Joseph Zen in Hong Kong. 90-year-old Cardinal Zen, a former Bishop of Hong Kong, was arrested on Thursday along with 3 others under the territory's national security laws. All 4 are identified as vocal critics of Communist China, as well as champions of human rights and democracy. Each has now been released on bail, but with their passports confiscated. In a statement to the British Parliament, UK Foreign Office Minister James Cleverly described the arrests as, quote, unacceptable. The autonomy of Hong Kong, a former British colony, was guaranteed under a one country, two systems agreement enshrined in a 1984 Sino-British joint declaration. However, Britain has repeatedly accused China of breaching that agreement, with the new Hong Kong security law being introduced in 2020, seeking to further curb those freedoms. Several minority rights groups in Pakistan are expressing concern for a teenage Christian girl who is thought to have been abducted. 19-year-old Eliza Naeem from Faisalabad has been missing since March the 13th. It's feared she's been kidnapped by a Muslim man who has then forced her to marry. The campaign group Human Rights Focus Pakistan has now joined with other organisations to highlight Eliza's plight. They are accusing the local police of inactivity in this case and are now advising Eliza's parents to pursue justice through the courts. The United States Department of Justice has dispatched the US Marshals Service to bolster security for the 9 justices of the country's Supreme Court. That decision has been taken by the country's Attorney General, Merrick Garland, who heads up the Department of Justice. It comes in response to protests outside justices' homes following the leaking of a draft Supreme Court opinion, suggesting that it is on the verge of reversing the 1973 Roe v. Wade ruling that legalised abortion across the United States. The US Marshals will provide additional support on top of the protection already given by the Marshal of the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court Police. Meanwhile, on Wednesday, the US Senate voted against a bill that would have codified a so-called right to abortion in federal law. The Women's Health Protection Act fell by 51 votes to 49. That vote broke down almost entirely along party lines, with Democrats voting for and Republicans against. The one exception was the Democratic Senator for West Virginia, Joe Manchin. He voted against the bill, and that was enough to defeat it. The bishops of Sri Lanka are appealing to the country's government to protect the lives and properties of civilians and to ensure freedom of expression and movement. The Asian nation has been beset by widespread violence following the resignation of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa on Monday. His successor, Ranil Wickremesinghe, was sworn in on Thursday. In a statement, the president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Sri Lanka, Bishop Winston Fernando, prayed that honest, competent and principled civilians should be placed in key responsible positions in the government to carry out their service to the country without any political bias and interference. The state of New South Wales and Australia may attempt to force Catholic healthcare facilities to provide euthanasia. That's unless amendments are made to legislation currently going through the state parliament. The Voluntary Assisted Dying Bill was passed in the New South Wales Legislative Council, or Lower House, on Thursday by 20 votes to 17. Amendments to that law will now be voted on this coming Wednesday. Archbishop Anthony Fisher of Sydney is urging lawmakers to respect religious freedom by not forcing Catholic medical providers or Catholic homes for the elderly to offer euthanasia. Joint action is needed to tackle the world's impending demographic winter caused by declining birth rates across the globe. So says Pope Francis. The Holy Father made his comments to those participating in this year's General State of Births meeting in Rome on Thursday. The gathering is organised by the Forum of Family Associations, an Italian association founded in 1992 with the aim of promoting the family as a social subject. At this week's conference, Pope Francis said, quote, "Fewer children are being born, and this means impoverishing everyone's future." The Pope called upon all sectors of society to work together towards a solution, including businesses, banks, associations, unions, sportsmen, actors, writers and politicians. Well, that's your latest headlines for now. Do join us for more tomorrow. You can also join us at swnews.org for news updates. Shalom.